So here's some thoughts on the new General Young Men's Council that was announced this week. Cool team roster, just some ballers on that list for sure. Many who I know personally, who I consider friends, and I just cheer them on with such a great opportunity. And it's just been interesting to see as the big names are on the list, or more influential names we're familiar with. I think in years past, these councils would come out and we'd be like, I don't know who these people are, and we'd even not even remember them announcing it, right? And I see a lot of excitement around these names because there's sort of a feeling of like, oh well, great, maybe some improvements are coming, right? And because I think there's this general sense, and I could be wrong, but a general sense of like, ever since like we got rid of scouting, there's been a want for more structure, or programs, or back in the day with the merit badges, the campouts, and all these things. It was, maybe in my opinion, it was overly structured to the point of it was so clear what the next thing was, or what the point was, or the vision was, that you couldn't help but do it, right? And so, but one thought I just want to share with you is maybe we can take a breath here and really ask yourselves, what is it that we want from the institutional church, the general church? What do we as the local church want from the general church? Because often we kind of look to the general church for solving of all of our struggles, problems, fix this program, make it better, and we sort of hope that the handbook paragraph comes out, or the general conference talk is given, or the new initiative or program comes down from Mount Sinai, from the church headquarters, right? And of course, I always appreciate whatever the church sends down to consider, and pray that it helps us out. However, what typically happens, the trap we fall into, is that maybe structure comes from the church, but the local adaptation kind of misses because there's so much nuance and uniqueness to each organization, each ward, each stake, right? And so we try and apply this more general plan to a local area, and it doesn't work. And then we start to feel, tension, frustration. I wish we didn't have to do this, but then there's this added pressure of, well, we got to do it because that's the program that the general councils want us to do, and on, right? And so I guess my invitation is maybe for us to step back and think, what is it that I want from the general church? Because my contention is the more autonomy that the local church has, the better success that we'll see, right? And so, this is why I'm not on these councils, but maybe my opinions aren't as great. But my hope was that we don't necessarily need like a program from the church, an initiative, curriculum, as much as we need maybe templates. Like, hey, here's 10 ways to do the young men's program. These four over here, that they're really good for really small programs, or these two here, these are great if you want to consider something for if you're really spread out geographically, right? Or these four or five programs, these templates, there may be something that you consider along the it was someone said it recently, the Book of Mormon belt, right? The Wasatch Front, Arizona, Idaho, like the really saturated condensed area. Maybe these are some considerations you want to have. And so we have a buffet of templates that we get from the general church, rather than this is the program, do it, and if it doesn't work, we'll just kind of make it work, right? Or there's always the option they could give, saying, actually, if depending on budgets and things, if you have a better way that meets the needs of your local youth, then you can do that, right? So that way it gives those that are maybe more creative, have ideas, gives them autonomy to really lean into that revelation. But those that are like, I don't know the first thing about, leading young men, or camping, or, I can't even light a match, let alone, spend 4 days in the wilderness, right? And so those types of people would really benefit from a template that came from the church, right? And be great. We're going to go all in on template 3, and it's going to just benefit our young men and young women, and this could be for all organizations as well, right? I kind of see that a little bit with Come Follow Me, is like it's this sort of rigid program. Maybe a variety of templates would have been helpful. And I would say local leaders should feel enabled to say, actually, we're going to tweak this a little bit to fit the needs of our local congregation. So, what do you think? What are you hoping from this new Young Men's General Council? And in general, like the question of what do you as a local church need from the general church?